In 1875, the Arlesbrugh and Ballaswein Railway was officially created, with a line between, as you guessed it, Arlesbrugh and Ballaswein, with stations in Portbaga Arl, Bluffs Cove, Harwick, and Ballaswein along the way. This would form the main line, and they employed 9 custom-built tank engines to run the line, known as the Class R659. In 1899, the railway would employ 4 Hawthorne Leslie 040s, a custom-built 042, and a class of 10 440s. These would take over all major services on the line, with the R659s being demoted exclusively to shunting and occasional motor trains. The railway's engines at the time would be painted with a very unusually vibrant livery of lime green with purple lining and accents. 1901, R659's numbers 1 through 4 would all be scrapped. In 1902, the railway would receive its first and only expansion in the form of a branch line from Harwick to Bridge of Rocks and Craigveer. This would serve the two villages and their nearby quarries, bringing in revenue from freight to the line. 2 of the 5 surviving R659s were put in charge of running this line. In 1903, the line officially met the Mid-Sodor at Arlesbrugh West, with a new drawbridge being built across Arlesbrugh Harbour. This new junction and partnership with the Mid-Sodor would be met with heavy fanfare. In 1910, 2 cranes were brought to Arlesbrugh Harbour. They were named Big Mickey and Cranky among the engines and crews of the A&B. Cranky and Big Mickey still work at the harbour to this day. In 1914, the Great War begins, and the A&B are happy to sell on their remaining 3 non-branch line R659s to the Rail Operating Division. In 1915, the RMS Sardic, carrying an ROD 280, was scheduled to leave Arlesbrugh Harbour. However, there was a sea storm afloat. Right as the Sardic was leaving, the storm started brewing, and it seemed like it was too late. Luckily, a Hawthorne Leslie was able to whistle in Morse code to the Sardic that the water was too dangerous. The Sardic would dock back in the water, and it was saved, along with the engine. The engine and Sardic would eventually return to combat, and the engine would actually survive the war, and so did the RMS Sardic. In 1918, the ROD 280 would actually become a part of the railway and would be named Anafleda, after the alleged wife of the King of Wessex, Sardic. She would be the heavy express engine for the line, and would wear purple with green lining, a reverse of the original A&B livery. She is still there to this day, and RMS Sardic was preserved at Arlesbrugh in 1932, and is still there to this day. In 1918, World War One ends, and all but one of the railway's R659s are gone. That last R659 is locked up in a shed and forgotten about. And in 1923, the A&B officially ceases to exist. Well, not really. If you know your railway history, especially in the UK, you would know that this is when the grouping of British railways came into effect. And at this point, there were only 4 standard gauge railways on Sodor: the Wellsworth and Sudbury, the Tidmouth, Knapford and Ulfstead Railway, the Sodor and Mainland, and the arlesbrugh and ballaswein. All 4 of these railways would merge into one giant railway, the North Western, with all of the engines wearing blue with red lining.